Hi everybody and welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm your host Jason Holland and today we'll be covering this week's action of baseball, basketball, softball, and the starts of spring track and tennis seasons. Before we get into the action, make sure to take a second to subscribe to KNWT TV on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified the second that we post new content. Cue intro.
Left to right will take the handoff, and he's hitting to the backfield. Breaks loose from one would-be tackler around the corner right side to the 30, 25, sideline 20 to the 15, the 10, the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown Northwest. West, ball at the 19-yard line.
Last Sunday, the baseball team went and had an offensive shootout at Henderson State with a victory in a high-scoring game of 17-15. Ryan Williams and Trey Morris smoked back-to-back home runs to jumpstart the high-scoring Sunday and help a stunning game where pitcher Jacob Gatchik had his first save of the season and pitcher Connor Polis first win. A shout-out to Noah Bodenhausen, who went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. On Friday, the Bearcat baseball team took a trip to Joplin to play in the Missouri Southern Classic in their first game against the Lewis University Flyers, where they went down 4-7 in a hard-fought game. But the team would bounce back by trouncing the University of Mary Marauders 13-5, where the Bearcats proved their bats were for sure alive. This was proven by an amazing 7-run first inning, followed by a 4-run second inning. The win was possible due to the excellent pitching by starter Casey Staltzer, who earned the win, putting the team positive with a 6-4 record. Last week, we met Noah Cornelius, an inexperienced disc golf player looking to learn the fundamentals. So, Coach Jacob Mustard catches us up as the teachings begin. Take it away, Jacob.
We're here at Mozingo Lake getting ready for my first time to play this course.
All right, let's see how he does.
What this round will help us with is getting to know what's known as a baseline. This will show us how Noah plays before any coaching and point out some areas of his game that need improvement. Noah mentioned that one of his strengths is his putting, which is usually a weakness for a lot of people. This makes our job a little bit easier when it comes to improving his driving. If he wasn't a confident putter, his comfort range would be 10 to 15 feet from the basket, but from what we have talked about, Noah is comfortable from 25 feet, which widens the area of where we want to get the disc to land. A focus area that has been set is improving his driving or throwing a good first shot off the tee pad. Most players struggle with controlling the angle of the disc, and when they do this, it causes inaccurate shots. One of the big things that we noticed about Noah is that he is constantly throwing on anhyzer, and when he misses his line, the disc was put on too much anhyzer. This is a good problem to have, as typically he can get the full flight out of the disc, whereas a hyzer release would cut his distance in half as the disc would want to get to the ground quicker. Ultimately, the goal is to get Noah to be able to manipulate the angles of each disc. However, a lot of people learn by changing the disc first, not the angle, depending on what kind of shot they want. There are two initial things that we are going to take a look at when trying to improve Noah's form. Rounding and off-arm are two of the biggest issues cutting into his distance potential. While his footwork and timing are solid, the throwing arm is going around the body instead of straight past it, which kills the momentum of the throw. The off-arm, or in Noah's case, his left arm, is not being used to help the motion of the throw and can sometimes drag behind, slowing down the rotation of the body. We don't want to add power and lose accuracy, as that is counterproductive, so these things will be worked on one at a time until we have solidified them to muscle memory. The initial round at Mozingo Lake was not bad. We played the first 9 holes and it went about as expected. This course is tougher than the ones Noah has played at before, but to be able to improve we have to find the weaknesses, which this course helped bring out. After the round was finished, we asked Noah a couple questions about how he thought the round went. Here's what he had to say.
Mozingo is a great course. I enjoyed playing it. Definitely still a lot to work on. Putting felt alright, but still driving and off the tee pad still feels a little shaky. I definitely think I can beat this baseline. Obviously, it was a bit of what I was expecting, but as far as form-wise, the work we've already done, I'm feeling more confident on the course.
Tune in next week as we will take the fundamentals mentioned in this video into the field house.
Thanks, Jacob. If Noah keeps working, he'll perform just like our national championship basketball team. On Thursday, the basketball team matched up against the Rogers State Hillcats, where the Bearcats broke the university shooting percentage record with them shooting 73.9% from the field while breaking the Hillcats 84-63. The previous record was at 72.9% and was set on December 18, 2021. The historic night was led by sophomore Bennett Sturts as he records his 7th 20-point game, with this game being 23 points, where he went 9 of 12 from the field and 4 of 5 from the free throw line. The Bearcats kept the tradition of beating the Riverhawks going as the men's basketball team beat Northeastern State 73-56. Northwest had 6 players in double-digit scoring, being led by junior Isaiah Jackson's 13 points. We saw a dominant victory in Bearcat Arena, so we figured the best way to strengthen your fandom is to give a quick history lesson around Bearcat Arena. Take it away, Tayden.
Hello, I'm Tayden Hensley, and this week we'll be talking about the history of Bearcat Arena. Bearcat Arena is the home of the men and women's basketball team and the Bearcat volleyball program, and has the seating capacity of 2,500 seats and houses concerts and practice facility for indoor track and field teams. Bearcat Arena was constructed in 1959 and became the home for Northwest basketball after replacing the Martindale Gymnasium, and would later go on and have $6 million worth of renovations. Those renovations would have on the south side of the arena has a fitness center in the basement, an expanded lobby and concourse on the first floor, and coaches' offices on the second floor. Then, on the north side, the Student Recreation Center was built, featuring 3 basketball courts and 5 racquetball courts, a suspended jogging track, and weightlifting equipment. The basketball teams and volleyball team has had great success in Bearcat Arena throughout its history, with the men's basketball team winning 4 national championships, 11 MIAA tournament championships, and 25 conference championships. And in women's basketball, they have 4 conference championships, and with volleyball, with 1 conference championship. Once again, this has been Tayden Hensley, and with that, this has been some of the history of Bearcat Arena.
Thanks, Tayden. We just spent a few minutes learning about one of our great stadiums, and we're all better for it. The women's basketball team would have a dominating week as they would pull away with a pair of 18-point victories. But Thursday's home beatdown against Rogers State was led by Kaylee Keston as she scored 15 points with over 70% field goal percentage. But despite Thursday's game being a defensive matchup, that would not hold up the offense as they would annihilate the Northeastern State Riverhawks. Kaylee Keston would again lead the team as she scored a team-high 21 points with 5 three-pointers made. The pair of commanding wins would bring the Bearcats to a 20-5 record. But we also figured that in order to learn the most about the game of basketball, why not meet a player? So that's why our reporter Wesley Miller sat down with Forward Kelsey Fields. Take it away.
Hello, I'm Wesley Miller for Bearcat Update. Northwest women's basketball is having its best season since the 2010-11 campaign, with an overall record of 20-5. And one of the players at the heart of it all is junior forward Kelsey Fields.
It's been really fun. I think it's been really cool to see just the growth in our team and the program from my freshman year to this year. It's just been really cool to see the steady, constant growth in people and individuals, and then as well as the team. And I think that it comes a lot from our buy-in as a team. Like, we know we can do big things, and we all believe that, and so I think it's really starting to pay off this year.
Fields is in her 3rd season with the Bearcats. But before she came to Maryville, she became the record holder for career points and rebounds in the small town of Creston, Iowa.
Yeah, high school basketball was a lot of fun in some ways and really hard in other ways. I was definitely the biggest girl like in our conference and things like that. And so it was really fun to play with some amazing players throughout high school, and I think they definitely made me a better player myself.
Rebounding has been one of Fields' strengths even through college. She led the MIAA in rebounds last season, and she's the team leading rebounder this year.
Especially on the defensive or offensive end, I really like getting rebounds because it's kind of like a reward when you're able to put those points back in. I have a lot of faith in our shooters, and so when their shots aren't going in, it's like, oh, I'll help you out a little bit and get those offensive rebounds. And then on the defensive end, it's really just making sure that you're the more physical player between you and the person that you're guarding. So that's just something I think about throughout games.
With just 3 regular season games left, Fields and the rest of women's basketball will soon look to close out the year. For Bearcat Update, I'm Wesley Miller.
Thanks, Wesley. But just because the team isn't playing games doesn't mean they aren't putting in the work. So reporter Luke Matthews sat down with the wide receivers coaches to talk about the offseason preparations they are currently doing. Take it away, Luke.
Welcome back to my segment where I will be updating you guys on everything that is happening in the world of Bearcat football. This week, I met with the wide receivers coach for the Bearcats, Coach Zach Martin. Coach Martin is a former quarterback for the Bearcats, and in this episode, he will go into depth about the life of a coach in the offseason with recruiting and the ever-changing transfer portal.
In regards to recruiting, we just signed our 2024 class. Going to be a really good class for us, 32 high school kids and three transfers. Got a 4-state radius that we definitely go to in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri. Go do some things in Arkansas. Then have some other pockets that we go to. We go out on the road in the month of April and May, kind of to spring recruit and start getting names and start looking at their junior film, kind of start the process, get them to camp in the summer, try to get a live eval on those guys. Some of our early offer guys will have official visits on in late July, obviously inviting them back for game day visits. And then once the season concludes, we will go to home visits. Feel like it's very important to get in people's houses, see parents, meet their siblings, kind of show them what we're all about. And then obviously on the official visit, they're going to get a feel for our guys, players, and everybody here. One thing that's kind of different this year with the portal, the transfer portal, our approach, we're going to look for guys that are local, people that we may have knew about in high school that are at our 4-state radius local high schools, and we get a coach's recommendation on that guy. We're going to go after and recruit that guy. Maybe he went to a higher level. He wants to get closer back to home, B, into a situation maybe he's got a better chance at playing. Obviously, there's times that we may have a need. Maybe someone left our program, or we didn't recruit a certain position well, and we have to try to get an immediate fix. Definitely a work in progress, and it's obviously changing rapidly every year. We're involved in it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's our top priority. Our top priority is still signing high school kids and developing them through a 4 to 5 year cycle. But we do jump into the portal a little bit, and that's kind of our recruiting mentality and how we get guys on campus, keep them on campus, and show them kind of the Bearcat way.
Thanks, Luke. We are all glad to catch up with our Bearcats on the gridiron, but just like they're on a break, we'll be joining them, and we'll be right back to catch up with the track team as they prepare for conference.
KZLX is a student-run radio station where Northwest students have complete freedom during their shifts. KZLX also hosts many radio shows such as Nerdmageddon, Revive, Day-to-Day Picks, and more. To learn more, visit kzlxfm.com.
Hey guys, I have the new season of Gen 2.
Yeah! Get over here, let's check it out!
Oh, you always gotta blow these things out. Alrighty, guys, gather around.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Over the weekend, the track team would finish up their final meet before sending the best of the best to the MIAA Championships. In the last chance meet, we saw a few athletes snatch provisional marks as they will be heading to Topeka, Kansas next week. The athletes were Gavin Monday, who would place third in the 400-meter run. Bailey Blake would be the lone runner in the women's 800-meter run, while Joel Dos Santos and Truman Hare would finish first and second in the 200-meter dash. In the dominant victory over Rogers State, we saw our current shooting guard Bennett Sturtz show out with 23 points. So our reporter Zach has a rundown of what exactly a shooting guard on the court does. Take it away, Zach.
Hello everyone, my name is Zach Scott, and we're switching it up a bit, going with a new show where we ask you, do you have what it takes? The show where we finally answer that spur-of-the-moment question when you look at the TV and you say, yeah, I could do that. Today, we want to see if you can be an MIAA shooting guard. Shooting guards are compared to cannons, archers, rockets, even lasers, because one reason. They are deadly from any range. You can trust the shooting guard to be anywhere from beyond the three-point line to slashing into the opposing defense for a good 2. If you want to be an MIAA shooting guard, you have to be able to score relentlessly. Now, if you're a shooting guard, you can bet $1 for donuts that you are going to be taking on one of 77 double teams every single game. If you want to be an MIAA shooting guard, you better get used to tight spaces because your room to shoot may always be a little cramped. Hope you're not claustrophobic. Now, this is what you don't do if you want to be an MIAA shooting guard. Sitting in the corner waiting for your teammate to pass for the eventual miss that you have, clapping your hands in your teammate's ear to the point where they go deaf will definitely not get the rock pass to you. And a rec center favorite, yelling at your teammate for not passing you the ball when you were guarded by everyone on the court. We don't like that guy. What we do like are the people that we're about to show you what it means to be an MIAA shooting guard. So why don't we show you what we're talking about?
Our amazing Bearcat basketball team is an outstanding example of what MIAA ball is needed to look like. As you can see, the guards are doing everything in their power to move around and make shots easier for the team's passing lanes and otherwise get a few points for themselves on their own stat line. Let's send it back to the real world with this amazing 3. And that's 2 for 2 right in the opposing team's face. Ouch.
Now that's an amazing shooting guard. Do you think you can go toe-to-toe with him? Leave a comment below and tell us here at Bearcat Update if you have what it takes. Taking it back to the studio.
Thanks, Zach. Both the men's and women's tennis teams would dominate their way to continue their perfect season to this point. Former guest star Andrea Zamuri would dominate in his first ranked singles match as he looks to climb into the top 10 rankings in the nation. As previously said, this season of Bearcat Update, we have been granted unprecedented access to the cheer team. Our reporter Jake Walker happens to be on the team, meaning we get to meet his teammates one by one. Take it away, Jake.
Welcome back to Catching Up with the Cheer Team. Last week we focused on one of the standout rookies on the team. This week we're taking a look at one of the veterans of the team.
Hi guys, my name is Ethan Jernigan Tolliver. I am a senior in Northwest Cheer, and this is my interview.
Hailing all the way from the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the great state of Texas, Ethan has had quite the journey on his way to be a Bearcat cheerleader.
Funny thing, I played baseball all my life. And then I had a friend introduce me to the cheer team halfway through my senior year of high school, and I thought it'd be fun, and I gave it a try, and I actually learned my standing tuck in 20 minutes, and that's when I know that cheer was something I wanted to do.
Ethan is one of the few that was here during a period of time where the head coaches switched, But through the shift, he's been able to adapt to the changes.
The main difference is I grew up with Henry. Us being neighbors and friends throughout high school and coming to the same school later down the road in college has made me view him differently than I did Jason. I respect both and I listen to both, but there was a deeper friendship connection because we were friends first. So we get along better and we bounce ideas off each other to help ourselves and ultimately this program into becoming something it is today and something it will be better with down the line.
Being a team leader of sorts could burden some with a lot of responsibility, but Ethan has managed to take that term in strides and produce great relationships with everyone on the team.
Making the connections and the friends I have now has just increased how much I like cheer and what I want to do in cheer, whether I want to coach later down the line or make more friends or do my job now as a UCA staffer and encourage high schoolers and middle schoolers to pursue their cheer career through high school and college.
Being an athlete is not all that Ethan is good for in the sport. He also makes it a mission to help others grow and learn every day in their individual skills.
Cheer is a difficult sport and it is a very contact sport. We get a lot of injuries, so there's a lot of preparation for getting your skills, and there's also a lot of safety tips. And as long as you have the right teachers and leaders, your pathway to getting here is actually pretty easy.
That's all the time we have with the cheer team today. We're going to swing this one back over to your host. Take it away, Jason.
Thanks, Jake. I'm Wiley Ray, and this is Jackson Phelps. Stick around to get an in-depth preview for basketball's home showdown against Missouri Western. We'll be right back.
Here at Tower Yearbook, we are a dedicated staff of photographers, designers, copywriters, and practicum students.
Our staff is a student-led, student-run media outlet, producing a book with over 300 pages. To pop out at any of our portrait or distribution events.
So stay tuned to our social media to see what's up.
For years, it has been Channel 8 News, the station that has kept the Northwest and Maryville community informed. Although the image has changed, the mission has not. It all happens here, every Monday at 9 a.m. on KNWT TV. This is Northwest News.
Welcome to Bearcat Update with the X. I'm Wiley Ray. Alongside me is Jackson Phelps and Cade Ricketts. And today we're going to be talking about the rival from down under, the Missouri Western Griffins, coming up to Maryville, taking on the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. Welcome, Jackson and Cade. We're going to talk a little bit about last game. We're going to start with the women's squad. The women's fell on the road in St. Joseph last time, and Bearcats really struggled with the turnovers in this one.
Yeah, you're talking about turnovers, and that's just what, the offense needs to work on, especially turnovers and shooting the three ball. They went 4 for 20 from the three. Just the whole entire offense that game just looked a little jambled. So definitely coming back home next weekend is definitely going to be the key point. So I'm glad you hit on that.
Cade, what are some things that you have in mind when it comes to this game, and just really, what do the Bearcats need to do for this one?
Yeah, going into this game for me, it's just going to have to be slowing down Connie Clark, who's the Griffins' top player. She leads the team in points and in rebounds. Last time they played, when they got the win over us, she had 16 points and 10 rebounds. So I think if you can slow her down when it could be a close game, and slowing her down will play a huge role in getting a win over them.
Not only slowing down the Griffins there, but also the Bearcats were slow to start things, trailed by 10 at the end of the first quarter, and they also gave up, like we mentioned, 24 turnovers. 14 of those were Griffin steals. And so the Bearcats, not only is that the issue, Bearcats shot less than 300% from the field and only 200% from the charity stripe. And so to me, this one, guys, that the Bearcats really need to start hot, and that's what they have been doing as of lately.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about starting hot, and then that's just like the game of basketball. You want to start out that team swinging first half, first quarter, whatever it is. But what I think Northwest needs to do is, you know, if they do want to start out slow, you're back at home, you're in Bearcat Arena, an amazing environment. Use that energy and kick it up in the second half, because you were just talking about the Bearcats are predominantly a second half team. So as long as they can play that second half to their game, shoot the ball, get it to their players, and up that field goal percentage a little bit, I don't think it'd be too much of a struggle for them.
Cade, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think just rebounding has been a huge part of the success they've been having in the defense as well. I mean, last game they had 45 rebounds, 33 of those were defensive rebounds. So as long as we're able to get boards on the defensive side of things, I think that's going to play a huge role in being able to get a win.
You know, and switching things over to the men's team. The men's team fell 76-70 last time. Bearcats played a similar game they have all season, but they were down by 7 to go into the second half, and it was also a slow start for the men's team. Statistically standing, they played with the Griffins. They really played to that caliber. They played good offensively, they played good defensively, but just that slow start to the first half is really what shot him in the foot.
Yeah, and also if you look at the box score, I mean, Wes Dreamer pretty much played that whole game. He had just under 30 points scored. So you really got to spread out the ball and spread out the attack. One person cannot win you a basketball game in basketball. So as long as we can spread out the attack a little bit more and use our weapons like Isaiah Jackson, Bennett Sturts, who have been playing amazing. So I think we have an upper hand.
Cade?
Yeah, I mean, last game, one of my big keys that I looked at was the fact that we lost by 6 and we missed 11 free throws. So when it's such a close game, you got to be able to hit your free throws in a close game like that in a big rivalry game, and you're going to have to play perfect to get the win. So we got to make those free throws.
You know, and we talked about, you know, making them free throws. And when it comes to Bearcat Arena, this is pink out night for the Bearcats and the Griffins coming up to our home territory. This game is arguably going to be the most watched game in the MIAA conference, as the Bearcats are really trying to solidify that championship opportunity. Like we said, Bearcat Arena, the energy is going to be there. What is your guys' score predictions?
Yeah, so I have Northwest on the women's side coming back into Bearcat Arena and upsetting number 1 Missouri Western 57-54, and on the men's side I have them winning 68-57 at home.
Yeah, so for me on the women's side as well, I do have, unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Griffins on this one. I know that hurts to say that, but I do have the Griffins go ahead and winning this one. I have about 60-52, and then on the men's side, I really think that we're going to be able to get it done big time this time around. 74-62, give me the Bearcats.
You know, Kate, I'm going to hop on that same bus as you. If the Bearcats can't shoot like they have been as of late, they'll fall 55-51. And for the men's game, Kate, what is your prediction?
Yeah, 74-62. I got the Bearcats winning.
All right, Jackson, what do you think?
Yeah, on the men's side, I have them winning 68-57. So.
Yeah, the Griffins they're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They fell in a heartbreaker Thursday night by just a 2-second game winner, and so I got the Bearcats winning 76-66. But that'll do it for Bearcat Update with the X. I'm Wiley Ray. Alongside me is Jackson Phelps and Cade Ricketts, and KNWT will be live producing this game next Saturday in Maryville for the MIAA Network. Take it to you, Jason.
Thanks. That's all the time that we have for Bearcat Update. I'm your host, Jason Holland, and you're watching Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We post a new episode every Monday at 6 p.m., and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. As well as Bearcat Update, you can also watch all of KNWT TV's other content. Before we end today's episode, we would also like to acknowledge the events at the championship parade in Kansas City. The impact has not only been felt by the victims, their family members, and the first responders, but also the members of our crew. It is a time for us sports fans to support these individuals involved like we support our favorite teams. On behalf of KNWT, we would like to offer our condolences and thoughts to all involved. If you're interested in donating to help with the relief, Kansas City's team has created KC Strong to help support the victims. Thank you, and together we will be part of the solution.